Oh, snap. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel. If you're new here, hit the follow button or subscribe button on YouTube. Welcome in, everybody. My name's Patrick. You like true crime? You found the channel. This could be your new favorite channel.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
It might be, though. I don't know. But welcome in. Thanks for hanging out. We got stuff to talk about. Thank you, Colleen. Appreciate it. You guys like the cap tonight? I was feeling cappy today. P. Diddy. Yeah. It's crazy as hell. That dude, man. I mean, come on. This is crazy as hell. Gregg also, and some dude named Sheriff Shawn Stines. I guess he did something crazy. Well, here we go. Let's check it all out. YouTube, hit the thumbs up button for me. YouTube, do it real quick. Let's get 100 likes. And I'm going to shrink myself down. And TikTok, come over to YouTube if you want to watch the video. And here we go. Let's get it going, y'all.
Disgraced hip-hop legend Sean Diddy Combs continues to make headlines in the wake of his sex trafficking arrest 2
right?
weeks ago. Since his arrest in New York City, more accusers have come forward alleging the Bad Boy founder assaulted them. But a law firm in Texas says they have more alleged victims in the triple-digit numbers. Houston-based firm, the Busby Law Firm, claims more than 100
that is unreal.
people have come forward with allegations they were assaulted by Diddy.
One is too many. 120? Man, you crazy as hell for that.
And his associates. Attorney Tony Busby of Busby Law Firm made the claim last week on his firm's Instagram page. According to Busby, the acts allegedly took place at hotels, private homes, and at Diddy's freak-off parties.
Yo, that's crazy. In 2024, we've got lawyers that are making announcements on their Instagram page.
You what?
Is that crazy to anybody else? Like, imagine 20 years ago, your lawyer's like, hold up, I got to post this MySpace bulletin because we're looking for jurors. What?
The freak-offs have been at the center of the government's case against the mogul. According to Diddy's federal indictment, the acts known as freak-offs went on for hours and even days, and Diddy allegedly produced, directed, and recorded the encounters for his own pleasure.
Man, you crazy as hell. Days.
Sure. The freak-offs allegedly involved multiple workers and often involved drugs, including cocaine, ecstasy, and
oh my God!
Which, according
Every
to
other word
prosecutors, Diddy distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. According to the indictment, the freak-offs often occurred in hotels, and Diddy and members of his staff facilitated the freak-offs by booking the hotel rooms and stocking them with supplies, including drugs, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. According to the
extra linens, they just had to throw that one in there.
Indictment, the Bad Boy founder allegedly threatened victims' careers and livelihoods if they resisted participating in the freak-offs.
Man, you crazy as hell for that.
Federal agents raided his homes in March. They recovered items including baby oil, lubricant, AR-15s with defense serial numbers, and drugs. According to court documents, members of Diddy's entourage often carried guns, and the producer allegedly used a firearm to intimidate and threaten others, including victims and witnesses to his abuse. According to attorney Tony Busby, the individuals they are representing, which include men and women, many were minors when the abuse occurred. In his statement, Busby wrote, some of these brave individuals reported the incidents to police, others did not. While at this time we don't know the full extent of the claims, Busby went on to write, each individual's story is gut-wrenching and heartbreaking. He wrote, the violations against this group of individuals are mind-boggling and can only be described as debauchery and depravity exacted by powerful people against minors and the weak. Initially, when Busby first came forward with the assault claims against Diddy and his associates, he said his firm was representing more than 50 people, but that number has since doubled when his law firm encouraged
50. I already said it. One is too many. 50 is insane. Over 100, now 120?
How dare you?
Man, you're gonna burn in hell.
Other victims to come forward. At this time, Busby has yet to file
Kimberly, thank you!
A formal lawsuit on behalf of more than the 100 alleged victims. The embattled producer, even though locked up, still faces nearly
we just started a few minutes ago, 5-10 minutes.
dozen lawsuits already, most recently from another woman in
T-Money, exactly. And half of them are dudes.
Harris County who accused Diddy and his bodyguard of drug, rape, and recording the assault in 2001 when she was 25 years old. Talia
Man, you crazy
Graves
as hell for
claimed she
that.
was dating an employee of Diddy's at the time, and he leveraged that relationship to isolate her. She said she learned Diddy recorded the crime and shared it to others to degrade and humiliate her. That lawsuit came a week after.
What the hell? That is crazy. Somebody that worked with him, his girlfriend, and Diddy's like, yo, I'm about to do this to your girl. That is crazy as hell. Man, you gonna burn in hell for this.
Diddy was indicted on charges of racketeering conspiracies, trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Since
Oh Lord, Wendy, thank you for the
his
coffee.
arrest, the hip hop producer has denied any and all wrongdoing and has pleaded
Any and all,
not guilty to the crimes.
Man,
But
you
two
crazy
federal
as
judges
hell.
have since denied his bail, and he'll remain in federal detention until his trial. This is a great time to bring on Texas-based criminal defense attorney.
I know you're innocent until proven guilty, right? Like you're presumed innocent until you're proven guilty. But I mean, videotapes, 120 people. Come on. Come on.
Attorney Bridget Williams. Bridget, always so great to see you. Now, a law firm in Houston says more than 100 people have come forward to them with allegations of assault against Diddy and his
Bridget, who's arrested in New York.
associates. What's your reaction, especially given that huge number?
It is such a huge number of women and people who are stating that they were assaulted. So it's a massive amount
Women
of
and
people.
men.
My first thoughts are whenever a federal crime is brought against a person, it's not because the federal government has a minute amount of information. They have an overwhelming amount of information to present against this person. There's probably been years of investigatory work that has gone into place in order to bring these indictment charges.
Right. Oh, by the way, this lady, Nina, looked like she got your glasses, or at least something close to them.
An indictment
I think you still pulled them off better, Nina. Where are you at, Nina?
brings just knowledge to the person. The purpose of an indictment is to notify the person of what they are being charged. So they don't have to lay out all the evidence in an indictment. The sole purpose is just to notify of what they are being charged with.
Oh
So,
hell.
with that being said, as time progresses, I just expect more and more evidence to come to the surface. So, we've seen some things already, but I can only imagine what else will be coming to the surface as this
Right? Yeah, I can't wait to see the list also. Lucky Salem.
progresses.
And we do just want to kind of clarify that the alleged victims that have come forward are not a part of the federal indictment. Now, the firm also claims that many of the alleged victims were minors when the assault occurred. What are your thoughts on that?
It's definitely heartbreaking to hear that individuals who were minors they had this happen to them. It's heartbreaking to have any person, an adult or a minor,
Right?
to state that this is what happened to them. A assault matter. When we think of it from a legal standpoint, though,
Y'all, do you think he's gonna get, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you think he's gonna become unalived? You know what I'm talking about? What do y'all think? I feel like man, this could get crazy as hell. Imagine. I saw the press conference earlier today. It was crazy as hell. That attorney was like, "Oh hell no, we're not going to release names yet." But he goes, "I know these names. You know these names. These are like big people." And I was like, "Oh hell, this is crazy as hell." Puff Daddy's good. They're gonna pull a Breaking Bad, make him look like Gustavo Fring. You know what I'm talking about? He's being there. Some dude's gonna be like, man, that would be crazy as hell. I mean, I don't know. But I'm just saying. By the way, I have been rewatching Breaking Bad, in case you were wondering. So let's continue, shall we?
We have the statute of limitations here in Texas for assault
Oh
varies
yeah, I could tell she's from Texas. Texas.
from a criminal offense and
Amen.
from a civil standpoint. So, on a criminal side, an individual who states that they've been assaulted as a minor, they do not
Oh
have a
no,
statute of
there's no statute of
limitations to
limitations.
bring forth a criminal case.
Nope.
So, at any time, they can bring forth a criminal case of assault.
Wendy, thank you.
However, on the civil side, when we're talking about a civil case, then if the offense happened when they were a minor, then they have 30 years to bring forth a civil suit against the person who they are saying that
Get him.
caused this assault case.
And there's always this debate of why victims don't come forward when things happen to them. Intimidation from Diddy. Do you think that attributed to them being the alleged victims in this case, not wanting to come forward
Of course it did.
before his arrest last week or 2 weeks ago?
Absolutely. I think that that is all
He used that same kind of power to, well, allegedly use that same kind of power to do it in the first place. Oh, you want a record deal? Oh, you want this, that, whatever?
always a key factor when we talk about alleged victims in assault cases. There's always a matter of they feel intimidated or they don't feel safe or they don't feel enough confidence to face their accusers, because those
Mm,
individuals in a criminal matter,
that's
they may be
heartbreaking too.
asked to testify in a trial setting. They may be asked to give a statement that will go into evidence and discovery that goes to the defense counsel, and the defendant may be able to read those statements, right? So they have to get to a point where they feel confident enough, and safe enough to come forward to bring their case. And that's one of the reasons why the statute of limitations on the civil
Renee,
case
thank
is
you.
for such a long time, and why there is no statute of limitations for sexual assault against a child.
And why do you think that
Right.
that Busby law firm hasn't filed a lawsuit yet with the claims?
Right now, Diddy is facing the federal case, in New York. Federal cases are always going to have precedent over any type of state law matters, especially when they're of this magnitude, right? So Diddy's facing three federal charges at this time period, one of them being racketeering. Racketeering is a case that is a very hard charge to prove. And so there's a lot of underlying crimes that will go into
Mm,
proving the racketeering case on the federal level. If the federal prosecutors can move forward with that case and they are successful there, it's going to be much easier for the state prosecutors to move forward on their criminal cases, because they may be able to insert some of that information into their trial setting if they have it. I would say that because they have that authority or a precedent to be able to move forward first there, I would be waiting if I was Busby as well, moving forward on the civil case and moving forward with trying to do criminal case as well.
And I'm interested to know,
right?
as far as the racketeering conspiracy and that being kind of harder to prove, why do you think that is? Because to me, in my mind, I'm always like, well, they can just like follow the money essentially. But what are your thoughts on why racketeering conspiracy might be a little harder to prove in this case?
Racketeering is always going to be a hard case to prove, and that's because it is the elements for racketeering is pretty much an organized crime involving schemes, to produce or elicit illegal financial gain for that organization.
Yeah, business doing illegal things for money
So there have to
or illicit purposes.
be a series of other crimes, of other specific examples of organized crime in order to prove the racketeering. And so that is going to be several instances that have to be proved, not just one time. It has to be multiple times. Multiple crimes have to be proven. So that could be bribery, arson, sexual assault.
But it does seem like if even like a small percentage of these accusations are true, even if that's the case. I don't think so. I think probably damn near all of them, if not all of them. But even if the smallest percentages, that still sounds like 120 people, y'all, that have just come through already. Imagine. Imagine. Crazy as hell. Renee, thank you. Almost there, y'all. Halfway. Thank you.
Several different crimes have to be proven in order to move forward in a RICO or a racketeering case.
And it's interesting too, because Diddy has denied all wrongdoing on previous lawsuits when it comes to his alleged sexual misconduct and denied all wrongdoing in his federal case. But with more than
He's like, man, I can't buy myself out of this one.
100 people now coming forward to allege sexual assault, not just by Diddy, but his associates as well too. How do you expect Diddy's attorneys to react to all of this?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough
Shredding,
because, again, whenever we talk about
shredding all the paperwork in their office.
these individuals coming forward, one person, we may say, okay, well, we have a case where it's when your word against the other person's word. But there's so much overwhelming evidence in this particular case. Sometimes it's the defense's job to mitigate or reduce the damages or reduce the sentencing or prison time as much as possible. Sometimes that can be a strategy. In this particular case, Diddy is, like you stated, denying all wrongdoing at all. So I'm just going to be looking for what's going to be presented in the trial setting. Because right now we have
Right.
some evidence, but we just don't know what will all be presented in the trial, and what
Y'all, TikTok says it's glitching. Y'all, is it glitching on YouTube? Can you guys see me on YouTube? TikTok's always doing crazy stuff, so it probably is, honestly.
evidence that Diddy's defense counsel has in order to produce also. So that'll be very pertinent in order when he talks about his defense strategy.
And speaking of defense strategy, what do you think Diddy's defense attorneys will be using kind of going forward with this trial? And I'm saying that in the sense of what type of strategy do you think they'll be using beyond that, these freak offs that had happened?
Y'all, can you see me on TikTok? I don't know why, but it like freaked out for a second. YouTube. No, it's fine on YouTube. It must be a TikTok thing.
In hotel rooms, possibly at his mansions, were all consensual acts. What other type of kind of defense do you think they'll use beyond this was just consensual?
That's a tough one, especially when we talk
Mm,
about the offenses that occur with minors, because minors cannot give consent, and so we that's going to be a
right?
very tough defense, whenever we are discussing the issues that went on with minors. So that one's going to be a tough one. But with the adults, individuals who are over the age of 18 years old, I think that's going to be the main defense strategy is consent. You provided consent, you were there, you were of your own free will to be there. And so, again, that will be the evidence that will be coming out in the trial setting. We'll just have to see exactly what they'll be putting forward. We won't know what their strategy that they can be using. We only have the evidence that the the prosecutor has brought forward at this time. So I think as that continues to develop, we may see more and more things, and then we can say, okay, well, this is how they will calculate a defense strategy once we are privy to more information.
And what are your thoughts about the prosecution in their case, kind of going about this? Can they use any of the claims against Diddy, including these lawsuits and possibly these more than 100 alleged victims? Can they use any of that going forward in their case?
They can try to, right? So we have different evidence parameters that they are not allowed to bring in any what we call prior bad acts, but that would be up to defense counsel to make objections to. A good prosecutor is going to try to insert that information into any trial. However, it's the defense's job to bring up that prior bad acts objection. Generally, they'll do that prior to the trial setting.
Oh hell, y'all! I restarted TikTok. Let's see if it works again. And Cheryl, thank you for the first super chat. Appreciate it. Very, very cool. Thank you for supporting the show.
It outside the view of the jury, and it'll just be in front of the court, and the judge will make a ruling on if that will be acceptable to bring into evidence, to bring into a trial, and if it will be tainting to a jury, if it is more damaging or not to the jury to hear that evidence. So that's completely up to a judge to decide.
And one thing that always kind of sticks out to me in this particular case is that, the federal government alleges that Diddy didn't act alone. He
Oh, yeah, that part. Y'all, TikTok, is it working? As you guys coming in, tap the screen again.
kind of was the head of his associates who kind of acted on his behalf. But now,
Kimberly, thank you.
with some of these lawsuits that are coming out, there are other people in Diddy's camp that have been kind of named in these lawsuits as far as either being perpetrators or knowing about Diddy's alleged crimes. What are your thoughts on just the whole
When the guy in the press conference even said that, he goes, "We're going to be going after businesses, like if a hotel or a pharmaceutical company," he said, uh, was paid in cash to keep things off the books and stuff like that. I was like, "Oh, hell. This is crazy."
aspect of his associates also being kind of involved in this? And I'm not talking about like celebrities who have attended his parties or anything like that, but people in Diddy's camp who have also kind of been accused of also kind of participating in these illegal acts.
Those individuals who are being accused of these illegal actions, I feel like they will go towards the racketeering case. That is just another way to build that there was an organized crime, a scheme that was going on this entire time in order to create additional illegal financial gain
Mhm.
for the organized crime. So all of those individuals being named, those names will come out what they did, what Diddy's involvement was with them and what they did, and their involvement in Diddy and what he did. All those things will come out in trial, and so
Oh,
I
hell.
think that goes to moving forward with the racketeering case. That goes to proving the racketeering case. So that would be something that I'm looking to the prosecution and their racketeering case in
Wendy, thank
chief
you.
to be bringing out those individuals.
It's also been interesting that
Right?
Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, has been kind of adamant that his client will take the stand in his own trial. What are your thoughts on that? Given
Man, that would be crazy as hell. By the way, TikTok, I see a bunch of new people coming back in. Y'all hit the follow button if you're new here. My name's Patrick. If you like true crime, we're live every single night. We're live on TikTok. We're live on YouTube right now. Rumble, X. We're live on everything. So if you want to find the YouTube channel, The Mystery Project, you can actually see the videos that we're watching too. On TikTok, you can only hear them. And I just put people behind me green screen. But on YouTube, you can see the videos. So you guys come over to YouTube, The Mystery Project, subscribe, come hang out, come watch it. Let's keep going.
isn't it criminal defense
Hit that follow button on TikTok too, y'all.
attorney 101? Don't put your client on the stand. So I just kind of want to know what your thoughts are about if Diddy takes the stand, what that could look like, and if this is something you would advise him to do.
As defense attorneys, it's our job to advise the client. And so we give them advice and tell them, okay, well, I don't think this is a good idea of you to take the stand
All right.
because this
But ultimately, they get to decide.
can happen, this can happen, all of these negative things can happen. However, it's the client, there's is their right if they choose to move forward, it's their case. If they want to move forward with taking the stand, then is again, it's their case. They have the choice to do that or not. Now, if I was Diddy's counsel, I would make sure that I have warned him, and I'm sure he has warned him of all of the implications that can come along with someone who is taking the stand as the defendant. The prosecution has the right at that time to question him about any and everything at that time. And so it's not at a good it's
Mm.
not a good position to be in, I would say, for Diddy to take the stand at this time with the information that we currently know. Again, as this continues to move forward and additional information comes about, then it may be something that may be to his interest to take the stand. But at this current time, with the information that we have, I don't think that it's a good idea for him.
All right, Bridget Williams, I always appreciate your insight. Before I sign you off, anything else about this case that you would like to add?
The individuals here in Texas who are stating now that they are bringing forth claims against Diddy for assault, they're fighting their own battles. They're going to have their own battles to fight against Diddy, separate from the individuals in New York, and that's because again, their battle here is going to be um, fighting against the statute of limitations here in Texas on the civil and the criminal side, and so they're going to have to work with their attorney, and that attorney is going to be looking at when these offenses occur, or when did they say that they did occur, and that's how he'll know if he's able to move forward on the civil case or criminal case against Diddy here in Texas.
All right, Bridget Williams, thank you again so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Sean Diddy Combs remains behind bars. However, his attorneys have filed an appeal. Combs is slated to appear in court again next week on October 9th.
Man, y'all. Oh, Diddy, what the hell were you doing? That is crazy as hell, Diddy. That is crazy as hell. All right, hang on. I got to put up the other picture. Bam. There we go. Yo, Carly Gregg. This is the girl. Remember she took the mom out and then tried to take the stepdad out? Aimed here, but hit him here. Is she going to get a new trial, y'all? This is crazy. Crazy as hell, as they say. Let's keep going.
We all heard Carly screaming when you walked into the garage, from the garage into the kitchen on March 19th. How did Carly appear to you when you walked in?
Like I said, my initial thoughts were she was terrified, scared out of her mind. I still to this day don't think she ever even recognized me. Something was wrong there. I don't know what, but something was off.
Carly
yeah, she was unaliving her mom and trying to unalive you. I'd class that as something off.
Gregg's stepfather, he's Smiley, testifying
Jeez.
at her
You don't say.
trial. She also shot him. He survived. And his testimony, incredibly sympathetic to his stepdaughter. Amazingly so. He's Smiley, Carly Gregg, Ashley Smiley, they all lived together. They were a family, but she's because Carly shot and killed her mother, shot her stepfather. He survived, and he is standing 100% behind her. I want to go back and remind you of the compelling arguments and the dramatic verdict in this case. And a lot of it had to do with the age of this defendant, who was just 14 at the time she shot and killed her mother.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's no doubt that
Crazy
Carly
as hell.
Madison Gregg is the one who killed her mom, Ashley Smiley. There's no doubt that she attempted to kill P. Smiley when she aimed the gun right at his head and shot and hit him in the shoulder. And there's no doubt that she's the one who hid the camera, thus tampering with evidence in the refrigerator.
Hid a camera in the refrigerator?
And we would ask you that you go back there and you find her guilty of all three, because she was not insane at the time that this happened. She knew exactly what she was doing, and she knew the difference between right and wrong.
We've heard the testimony of Carly's stepfather, who has no reason to defend this child. It's not his biological child. He was very much in love with his wife. They were still in the honeymoon phase. You heard him on that 911 call. That was a man in shock, in grief, and in pain. You heard his testimony about feeling intimidated regarding his testimony in this case. But despite all of that, he has continued to tell the truth consistently from March 19th until his testimony in this courtroom today. And he continues to stand by Carly to this day and support her. And he said, yeah, I've noticed that Carly was experiencing memory lapses in the fall of 2023. It was bizarre. And while she was having a state of psychosis and an episode of acute stress on March 19th, she lost herself in what was the perfect storm. I am asking you for those reasons.
Oh my gosh. What is this, Eminem and the 8 Mile? Lose yourself in the music the moment you want it. You bet. Come on. She hid the evidence. You're not in a psychotic break if you try to cover up evidence because you know you don't want to get caught. If you know that you don't want to get caught, you understand that what you're doing is wrong. If you understand what you're doing is wrong, you're not having a you might be a psycho that broke, but you're not having a psychotic break. But I'm not a doctor. I'm just live on TikTok and live on YouTube. Hey, what y'all doing?
Oh, he needs some milk.
I need a gin and tonic after listening to this crap. That's her defense attorney too? That is crazy as hell.
To please find Carly Gregg not guilty by reason of insanity and finally quell this storm for Carly and her family.
Quell this storm? What are you saying?
He arrived home, opens the door, and gets shot at. He took the stand. He tells you to this day that wasn't Carly. The person that was shooting at him was not Carly. It's real important.
Yes, it was. Because he said that it didn't look like her, but it was her. So he said it was her.
He's the last person that's seeing her right there as it's happening. This is the person who knows. This is the person that sees her every day, that knows Carly. And yet he's saying she's shooting at him. If there's anybody that has a reason to, disavow Carly and say, hey, look, she shot me. I don't want to have anything to do. Why? He's sitting there saying, and he was doing it to his own detriment. And he's saying, that's not her. Something's wrong. That was not her.
The only
Oh my God. That's their defense? She got life in prison, didn't she? Twice? Plus 10 years for hiding the camera in the fridge? Something was wrong. Yeah, she was trying to take your life and took her mom's life. Of course there's something wrong. What is wrong with people nowadays? That's crazy as hell. Well, she might have been really stressed and just it didn't seem like it was her, like something she would do. Oh, okay. So she could be, it's like she didn't do it. These people piss me off with this craziness. Really? No. Is that Steph Case Files? Steph Case Files, can I get a thumbs up? Does this stuff ever just irritate the hell out of you as well? And y'all make sure you follow Steph Case Files when she does a thumbs up, because I know she's going to do it too. Y'all give her a follow. This is crazy as hell.
The thing that the defense wants you to do is to have sympathy for the defendant. To
Exactly.
believe this story that
There's the thumbs up.
she's made up after she's been arrested.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Carly Madison Gregg, guilty of first-degree murder, guilty of attempted murder, guilty of tampering with evidence. Your sentences will be as follows. As to count one, the jury having fixed the verdict at life imprisonment, this court will sentence you to life imprisonment. As to count two, you'll be sentenced to life imprisonment. As to count three.
Look at that. She's been shaking her head yes. Kimberly, thank you. Thanks for the coffee. Yeah, she's even shaking her head yes, because she knows. She's like, yeah, I got caught. I'm not insane. People are insane. They hear that. They're like, what? She'd be in the freaking the interview room being like, Amazing Grace. What was that one lady that did that? How sweet the sound. There was a lady who did that too. That shit was crazy as hell. Who was that? I don't remember.
You'll be sentenced
You got life too, didn't she?
10 years to serve.
We saw a lot from Carly Gregg's stepfather, but Carly Gregg's biological
Oh, Aries did it too, but there was another one. Jody did it, but there was another one too.
Father Kevin Gregg spoke with WLBT.
Oh yeah, this is her bio, Dad. He's like, man, that defense was dumb. That's literally what he says. He just straight out says it. That defense was about as dumb as it gets. Oh damn! I hit the perfect pause too. Vinny looks like he needs some milk of magnesia. Oh, we love you, Vinny. I'll hit play so we can get you out of that unfortunate freeze frame.
TV in Jackson, Mississippi, and discuss
Carly,
her childhood and her
that
trial.
one, Steph. Yep.
I love Carly.
She hit some notes too when she was in that room. She hitting all kinds of runs. She went Amazing Grace. She was nailing it. I was like, oh shit, too bad you unalived your boyfriend.
And I would love to have tried to help her the best I could. I kept screaming in my head, you know, why couldn't you just have called me? You know, we had really enjoyed ourselves, and she was a wonderful child, and she was obviously multi-talented, gifted. You know, we loved each other. We loved that girl. That girl knew right from wrong. That girl is not insane. That was a very dumb defense, if you ask me. But I wasn't
Yeah, that was rare.
involved. Nobody ever called me.
All right, so you heard Kevin Gregg say, nobody ever called me. Nobody ever called me in this case. Well, the big news now is that the defense has filed a motion for a new trial. Let me put it up on the screen because it's really interesting. In an unaired portion of his interview, okay, not what was shown on TV, but the unaired portion of the interview, Kevin Gregg disclosed that Carly was placed in equestrian therapy as a young child due to experiencing auditory hallucinations.
What?
Auditory hallucinations. They say, the defense says Kevin Gregg refused to cooperate in Carly's defense, refused to talk to the state, refused to talk to the mental health professionals evaluating Carly, and refused to come to any pretrial hearings or a single day of Carly's criminal trial.
Oh, hell.
So they're saying this is new evidence. Auditory hallucinations. Meanwhile, Kevin Gregg is saying, no one tried to contact me. Let's bring back in the think tank Al Wunsch, Darnell Crossland, Jennifer Brandt. All right, Darnell, what do you think of this development? They're saying, listen, the father has this new information we didn't know about. He wouldn't cooperate. Now he's saying that she suffered from auditory hallucinations as a child, as a younger child, as a much younger child.
Man.
But she's not that old now, 14.
Right.
So it's not that far away. I mean, it's a small life. And whenever
That is crazy. We all suffer from auditory hallucinations. It was called Puff Daddy's music. Gotcha. Yeah, that dude's crazy as hell. He can burn in hell for that. And this is crazy as hell, too.
you have new information that could tend to make the outcome different, the court has an opportunity, an obligation to look into it. And when you have something that shows that she had some mental issues or hallucination, and it matches what the stepfather was saying, I think that's good grounds for the court to look into it and see if, in fact, they can offer a new trial.
Jennifer Brandt, your thoughts about this and the fact that Kevin Gregg is saying this now.
She's like, hell no.
He's saying no one called him.
She's already shaking her head no. That lady's like, man, let me get on this mic. I got a hot mic. I'm about to drop the mic.
But the defense is saying he wouldn't cooperate.
Yeah, Vinny, it's crazy. I mean, reading that and hearing that he wouldn't even come to a day of trial, wouldn't support his daughter. I mean, you hear him now talking about her, what a great kid she is and that kind of thing. But where was he all this time, and why didn't he step in? He is her biological father. I mean, what could have gone wrong between the two of them? She's a young child. She still is a young child. So what could be so wrong in this relationship? And that's a question in itself. You know, she obviously had some problems early on. Did he just abandon her? Did he leave her? What was her mental state and her mental health? And should that have been brought into the trial? I think that is all very relevant. And I think it's upsetting to hear that he wasn't, if it's true, that he wasn't even involved.
Al, I think there's a lot of cases where sometimes people don't want to testify, and that our system of justice has some mechanism to bring people to court who don't necessarily want to be in. What is it called?
subpoena.
Again, what do they call that?
My uncle Nuncio.
Yeah,
He's the one that can get anyone to court anytime. I just go, Nuns, go over there, take care of him, and they show up. It works every time.
And he's a subpoena. So why wouldn't the defense just subpoena him? He's not cooperating. Oh, he won't come in and talk to us. Subpoena him, make him testify.
Because I think they were afraid that he was going to say partially what he said, which is that she knows the difference between right and wrong. And then there's the situation with regards to the equine assisted therapy that he's bringing up, which seems to be for the first time. It seems odd to me that they did not find out about that. But equine assisted therapy does not necessarily deal with schizophrenia. So maybe they were a little bit concerned that it was, not necessarily a thing that was used for people who are, schizophrenic. I mean, it's used for depression. It's used for overweight. There's a ton of stuff that they use it for. Schizophrenia is not necessarily one of them. But now you've got, throw out everything, go forward on it. I just think that if I was the prosecutor, I'd say exactly what you just said. Why couldn't you get him here? Why? It's not like you didn't know about him. It's not like there was.
All right, Al, before we run out of time, he's chomping at the bit. Go ahead, Darnell. I see you chomping.
Yeah. No, not really. I was just really thinking, when it comes to these cases, the defense attorneys always want to know who's on their side. And it would seem like there was so many unanswered questions about this father. And as Jennifer alluded to, I mean, what type of guy is he? He seemed like a wild card. He's not there to support them. And like Al said, he's saying that she's not crazy. So we simply tend to leave those people outside of the courtroom if we don't know where they're going to go. And I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, and save them for the motion for a new trial. There you go. All right, think tank staying with us. When we come back, that's not the only reason the defense says they deserve a new trial. We'll break it all down next.
Oh, hell. There's more reasons?
March 12th, Tuesday, she writes, I think I had a psychotic break earlier. The whole ordeal was quite silly. I actually spoke with one of the voices in my head. Well, I didn't hear them until earlier today, but I only do then. My particular friend and I were practically screaming, bloodthirstily and ravenously. Thank God, physical confrontation was not, and I think it's fruitively, possible. I sound crazy.
That's straight from Carly Gregg's journal, read by Dr. Andrew Clark during the course of her case. So her defense now, after the conviction and, life in prison, making a motion for a new trial in front of the same judge who heard this case. They also have some complaints about the jury and the jurors' ages. Take a look at this one. I've never seen this one before.
What?
Carly was not tried by a jury of her peers. Carly was 15 years old when her trial commenced on September 16th, 2024.
What are they going to bring in 14 and 15-year-olds, you weirdo? That is Cheryl. Thank you. 2 left. Her defense is trying to say they didn't have a jury of her peers because she was 15 years old at the time. Man, you are crazy as hell. This is crazy.
Mississippi believes that only a person 21 or older possesses the maturity necessary to make decisions about the life of another. You've got to be 21, apparently, to serve on the jury down there. However, Mississippi also holds that a 14/15-year-old possesses the maturity necessary to make decisions about plea offers, understand the nature of the alleged offenses, comprehend the nature of the charges against them, effectively participate in their defense at trial. These two fundamentally opposing legal standards cannot be rectified. And, they've got a point, little common sense. You got to be 21 to be on a jury, but you could be 14 and tried by a jury. Let's bring back in our think tank, Al. Once Darnell Cross and Jennifer Brandt. I don't think they're going to win, but it's an interesting argument, Jennifer.
It is an interesting argument, but I agree. I don't think they're going to win. I mean, she's old enough to be tried in this court. She committed.
Interesting argument is a really nice way of saying it's crazy as hell. Vinny, you got to get me on one of these panels. I'll pop in and tell it straight up like it is. That is crazy as hell. Crazy as hell. Crazy as hell. Crazy as hell. No. Get with it. Get with it.
Allegedly committed an act that is
right? Not allegedly, she's convicted. The Fuzzy Pack, thank you for the $2 super chat. You guys are sweet. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the coffees over here on TikTok too, y'all. We got 2 left. Thank you for the support. Hit the follow button if you're new here. Tap the subscribe button if you're new on YouTube, and hit the thumbs up, YouTube. We got 23 likes to go.
You know, quite dangerous and quite adult, not something that a child would normally do. And I think she should be judged by her peers. These are her peers. These are other people in the community who are also being affected.
Ding, 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 ding. That part.
Affected by this alleged crime. So
that's right. Thank you.
I don't.
One left.
I don't see her being judged by a bunch of 14-year-olds. I don't think that.
Yeah, this isn't a slumber party. It's freaking court for taking your mother's life and attempting to take your stepfather's. You crazy as hell for that. Crazy as hell. Wendy, thank you. We hit it. You guys are the best.
Is going to happen. So I don't think she's going to win on that one. But I agree. It is an interesting argument. And, you know, I just don't, never heard it before, but I think it's a good one. It's one that you should throw in with the rest of them, but not a winner, I would say.
All right, they have another one regarding something. So this is regarding the testimony of Carly's therapist. Here's from the motion again. The testimony was of no importance in the facts in Carly's case and was elicited for the sole purpose of prejudicing the jury. This fact is highlighted by the state's erroneous belief that Mrs. Kirk, who was the therapist, was concerned about Carly reading this book as the title was underlined in her records, without realizing that it was simply grammatically proper to underline the titles of novels. Let's take a look at how that went down.
What the hell are they talking about now? Desiree, thank you. Howdy, ma'am. Kimberly, thank you. Howdy, ma'am.
The entire book, very difficult book, about a psychopath who lives in Russia, and he is poor. He is a student. He is very intelligent, and he comes on hard times, impoverished, and he has this obsession with this obsessive thinking of basically planning to murder a woman with a hatchet.
What in the hell?
And Rebecca, in your note, you'd actually underlined the fact that she was reading that book.
Well, that was just for grammar, because you're supposed to underline the title of a book if you can't italicize it. Okay.
All right, Al. It seemed the state was trying to make a big deal that the therapist.
Whoa, Desiree, thank you.
Was underlining the name of the book, Crime and Punishment, when, like, that's how you grammatically do it.
That's how you grammatically do it. That is a ridiculous point by the state with regards to this. I mean, first of all, the book Crime and Punishment is a 500-page book. It is not necessarily a very difficult book, but it's not necessarily geared towards a 14-year-old or 15-year-old. It's a story of Raskolnikov, who is an impoverished student who ends up, murdering an old woman. Okay, and he's talking about everything that went on with regards to his intelligence, and he couldn't understand why he was, impoverished, and all these other people with less intelligence were doing better than him, and things along those lines. To say that underlining meant that was her concern is absolutely just ridiculous.
All right, so we'll give a point to the defense there, and if you need a copy of the book, I think it's on the second shelf behind Al. Now,
right over here.
Exactly.
Signed
by.
Jeez.
Exactly. Okay, let's get to one more of these reasons that they are making a motion for a new trial. It's about the testimony of Dr. Jason Pickett. Dr. Pickett's testimony regarding his undiagnosis of Kevin Gregg, that's the biological father, was improper, unethical, and highly prejudicial at trial. Pursuant to the ethical guidelines established by APA, the Goldwater Rule prohibits and enjoins psychiatrists from offering opinions about the mental health of someone they have not personally examined. Here's the testimony of Dr. Jason Pickett regarding Carly and her biological father.
To me, it made the diagnosis very skeptical of Mr. Gregg to have bipolar disorder. The very limited and sparse records from Dr. Hardy made it very questionable. My opinion is that, based on reading his report, that some of his opinion of diagnosing Carly with bipolar disorder was that he took Dr. Hardy's notes for face value. And when I read Dr. Hardy's records, importantly, he never said, Kevin has bipolar disorder, and I reviewed the records from his recent hospitalization, or he has bipolar disorder because he met these criteria. He essentially just says he has bipolar disorder and he used to drink and maybe do a little bit of drugs, but doesn't do any of that now. And so I really, only having 3 visits for 1 hour with no collateral records, minimizing his substance abuse, and then prescribing him the controlled substances he did, I just wonder, did he have all the facts? And
oh, hell.
If Kevin doesn't legitimately have bipolar disorder, well, then Carly, it's a lot less likely that she would.
Okay, Darnell, does the
oh, hell. Is it freezing again, y'all? TikTok, can you see me?
defense have a point here?
If it is, come over to YouTube. The Mystery Project on YouTube. You guys can see it. YouTube's been fine all night. Come on over, y'all.
Here, and basically what they're saying is that this expert for the state did not examine Carly's father, so cannot come to a conclusion that he's not bipolar. And his conclusion that it's less likely that Carly is not bipolar because her father's not bipolar is unethical. I mean, it's a subtle thing, but is this a big deal?
It's heavy. It's a mounting thing, right? So you have to put everything before the court, and definitely before the appellate court. So they're basically saying he can't opine about this because he's not qualified, and the unethical word is huge. So it's unethical for him to do so. So therefore, the judge has to now take away everything he said and act like it didn't happen. And not even that. Not that it didn't happen, but they have to conclude that that went improperly before the jury, and now it may have swayed the jury. So now we need to give this case to a jury that gets proper information, ethical information, and that's what's happening. I think they're right on all fours with that. You have to put it in because it's a building, a little this, little that, and then and then hopefully you get the new trial.
We shall see. Great job as always, Al Wunsch, Darnell Crossland, Jennifer Brandt.
Oh, hail. What the heck? What do y'all think about that? Should she get a new case? What do you think? Thumbs up, she should get a new case. Thumbs down. Hell no. You did the crime. Do the time. Speaking of crime, who's next? Gotta change the picture on TikTok. Bam, this dude. I guess he was a sheriff. The hell did he do? I see a lot of thumbs down. Yep, I think that's pretty much, yep, that says it all. All right, let's see what this guy did. He's a sheriff. No, hell, or was a sheriff.
The story of 2 men sitting in 2 prestigious positions in the small community of Letcher County, Kentucky. The local sheriff, Shawn "Mickey" Stines, and the only judge in town, Kevin Mullins. Both with great reputations, known especially for their work in trying to help their community battle the opioid epidemic. On September
oh, hell, what'd they do?
19th, after lunch, the sheriff headed to the judge's chambers for a closed-door private meeting. What happened next, no one in this community expected. Reports that the sheriff looked at the judge's phone, put it down, and then fired his gun several times, taking the life of Judge Mullins. The sheriff then walked into the courtroom, laid down his gun, and surrendered himself. Sheriff Mickey Stines is now charged with first-degree murder.
Oh my God. In the song The Other Way, I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy. This guy said, nope, I just took the judge. Now put me in jail. He looked at his phone. Oh, what happened? What was the judge doing? Was the judge hearing some after hours testimony from somebody close to him? Perhaps his wife or something like that? Maybe, I don't know. Let's keep going. I don't know this case, y'all.
And the community is in collective mourning and absolute shock. Tonight, we are live from Letcher County with another big development in this case. I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. We have a big hour straight ahead. We're going to get to Carly Gregg in just a moment. But I want to begin with the judge, Judge Kevin Mullins. Shot in his chambers. That should never happen. Should never, ever happen.
Right?
We know it. I know it. You know it. Everyone knows it. We can't have people going to judges' chambers and shooting them.
Especially not law enforcement, and not even law enforcement, the sheriff. Man, that's crazy though. This is the hometown of Steph Case Files, Pat. Really? Steph Case Files, you still in here? This is your hometown?
And by the people or person who is supposed to protect him and everyone else inside that courthouse? The judge is doing his job.
It's gotta be something like his daughter. Yeah, the judge messing with his daughter or wife or something. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Now, the man charged, Sheriff Mickey Stines, been charged with murder for shooting the judge. Now, he surrendered himself. It's supposedly on video, so I don't know how much question there is about it. But again, murder is an allegation. The shooting seems like it's pretty well established here. And the question really comes down to, well, why did he do it?
What the hell is the motive?
Isn't that where we land every time we talk about this story? And we know there's lots of rumors floating around on the World Wide Web and, of course, out in Letcher County and in the rest of Eastern Kentucky and Appalachia.
I mean, we don't call it that anymore. It's just the internet, the interwebs. A series of tubes.
Everyone's talking about it, and there's rumors about why it happened. Let me just go on record right here, right now. Short of self-defense, there's no justification for what happened here.
Maybe it was self-defense.
Self-defense is justifiable homicide. Okay, we have that on our books. What we don't have on our books is taking the life of someone because of something that just was so wrong for whatever reason. See, we have a system of justice that deals with that. We have police officers and sheriff's deputies who are supposed to catch the perpetrator. Then we have prosecutors who are supposed to put together the evidence. We have trials. We have judges who oversee the trials. And then a jury decides what happened. And if it is, in fact, a crime and someone is guilty of doing something horrible, then either the judge or the jury, depending upon the jurisdiction, will hand down the punishment. One person on their own does not get to be judge, jury, and executioner.
But it does make you think that if he took that into his own hands and became judge, jury, and what the hell did that man do?
In our system of justice. None of that is justifiable homicide. Self-defense is, you're scared for your own safety or the safety of others. Someone else is going to be killed, or I'm going to be
friends. Tara, thanks for the roses.
Killed or great bodily injury.
Y'all hit the follow button if you're new here on TikTok. And we got 5 more of the cowboy hats. Come on, y'all. YouTube, hit the thumbs up button. We're still not at 100. Uh-oh. Y'all, 19 left. Thumbs up. Everybody hit it real quick.
To me or to someone else, then I'm forced to use my weapon in a way that is justified by the law.
That's the only circumstance. So unless we hear an argument about self-defense, regardless of the reason, how horrible it could be, and it may not be because we don't know, that is not justifiable homicide. It doesn't work that way. Which leads us to the next question, which is when will we hear the evidence? When will we find out the answer to the one question that has not been
On
answered, which is
everybody's mind.
why would a sheriff who is supposed to protect anyone and everyone in that courthouse, anyone and everyone in that county, why would the sheriff shoot the judge in his chambers? We may find out this week. Let's go to Court TV producer Cody Thomas, who's on the case, joining us live from West Liberty, Kentucky.
Oh, Dan, what up, C-Tom?
Where tomorrow is a big, big day in all this. Before we get to that, though, I can't forget, Cody. I mean, the defendant here is the sheriff. And we were talking about, well, why is he still the sheriff? Is he going to resign? Is he going to be fired? What's the latest on all of that, Cody?
Well, Vinny, the big news of today, former Sheriff Shawn Stines has officially filed his resignation. And this comes on the heels of Governor Andy Beshear asking for him to resign from his position last week. Now, in that official filing today, it said, quote, Mr. Stines has made the difficult decision to effect his retirement as of September 30th, 2024. This decision is made not as a result of any ultimatum or in any way as a concession to any allegations made by the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Rather, Sheriff Stines has made this decision to allow for a successor to continue to protect his beloved constituents while he addresses the legal processes ahead of him. Now, Vinny, again, Andy Beshear called for his resignation last week, saying that if he didn't officially resign, that his office would move forward with their removal of Stines as sheriff. But based on the rhetoric in this letter, the resignation seems to be done in good spirits.
Yeah. Retirement after you shoot the judge in the chambers, allegedly, right? Yeah, it's a problem. I mean, like I said, everyone, including Sheriff Mickey Stines, presumed innocent, folks, presumed innocent. We've just heard reports about what happened, and, you know, we'll see. Now, I noticed on that letter some attorneys who were not the attorney that we saw in his first appearance, was a public defender. That was letterhead. What's going on here? He's got new attorneys?
That is exactly right, Vinny. That public defender is no more. He got two new attorneys today. Their names are Jeremy and Carrie Bartley. Now, Vinny, the interesting thing about these two new attorneys is that they are personal injury attorneys. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle
what? Personal injury attorneys, but they're taking a unaliving case?
A murder case. But also, if you remember, the initial prosecutor on the case, Matt Butler, recused himself from the case due to his personal relationship with the victim, Judge Kevin Mullins. Take a listen to this statement that he made a few days ago.
Oh, hell.
My office is recusing or has recused out of the prosecution of Sheriff Mickey Stines related to the death of Kevin Mullins. Many of you are aware of the close personal relationship I had with Judge Mullins. You may know, for example, that we, for many years, were married to a pair of sisters. I had a close professional relationship with Sheriff Mickey Stines.
Did he say they were married to a pair of sisters? Man, it's Kentucky.
A staff member.
You what?
Like, maybe it was twin sisters.
Member of mine.
I mean, not twin sisters. Maybe it was like sister, you know?
Was in the judicial suite or the district court suite at the time this happened.
Hey, now, I'm in Kentucky. I'm just kidding. I'm playing. I'm being facetious. It's a joke.
And would...
yeah, that is crazy, though. Think about it. The judge, they said the only judge in town, and the prosecutor, and their basically brother-in-laws.
likely be a witness in this case. And so it is customary and it is expected in this case that me and my entire office recuse.
And Vinny, the Kentucky Attorney General Russell Coleman has agreed to take over this case as far as the prosecution goes, and he informs the community that he will pursue justice in the fullest extent in this case.
Now, this is a potential capital case. A public servant or public person of the government, a judge was shot and killed, makes it eligible for the death penalty in Kentucky. I'm wondering about these defense attorneys, if they're death penalty qualified in Kentucky or if that's even necessary in Kentucky. I'm not sure, but I think that's going to be another issue sort of bubbling in the background here. Okay, you're there in front of the courthouse. What's going on tomorrow? Big day tomorrow.
Huge day tomorrow, Vinny. Preliminary hearing. This will be one of the first insights we have into the evidence that the state has against Mickey Stines. Witnesses will be called, evidence will be presented, and it also will give us insight as to a possible motive, because we still don't know why this shooting would have happened in those judges' chambers. So evidence will be presented to try to move this case from district court to circuit court, which will be a further push towards a real official jury trial down the line.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much, these things can go many different directions. The defense tries to make these very big when they can. Prosecutors really like to limit it. They want just enough to get it up to the next level, to the circuit court. It'll be interesting to see and hear the testimony, but I've got to think that if there was a reason behind any of this, if there was something on that cell phone that one of these defense attorneys in cross-examination.
That part, y'all. What is on the cellular telephone device?
Is going to ask about that. All right, let's talk about the community. To me, that's another big part of the story. It's such a small community. I mean, we're talking like a handful of thousands of people. You've got an elected sheriff. You look at these images, just beautiful, beautiful part of the country.
That almost looks like a place I was in West Virginia.
How is everyone out there day one on the ground for you?
Which I guess would be pretty close.
Well, Vinny, right now we're actually in Morgan County, Kentucky, which is about 2 hours away from Letcher County. We spoke to the sheriff. He rode by earlier and spoke to us briefly, explaining why it's here. He said that the judge is a tri-county judge, and dealing with his caseload this week, it would have been easier for Stines to have this hearing here in Morgan County versus Letcher County. But we here at Court TV have spoken to residents over in Letcher County who are still very shocked to hear this news about what happened just less than 2 weeks ago. Take a listen to what some residents had to say a few days ago.
And we're very tight knit. It's sad all the way around. I think everybody's kind of mourning in their own way.
It seems like everybody knew the two gentlemen involved.
Very well. We have one of the only restaurants downtown, and they frequent often, and were very good to us, both of them. So no negativity from my end.
What was your reaction when you heard the news last week?
Very shocked. Very shocked.
Gizmo, is that like proven? Did they release that yet? Because I'm thinking that'd probably be the only thing.
So, Vinny, with this big day going on tomorrow with the preliminary hearing, hopefully some of those residents over in Letcher County have some of their questions answered.
We shall see. All right. Cody Thomas on the case in Kentucky. I'm sure I will speak with you tomorrow night. Let's bring in our think tank. Joining us tonight, criminal defense attorney.
I want to be on that think tank.
Former prosecutor Al Wunsch III. Also with us, criminal defense attorney Darnell Crossland and family law attorney Jennifer Brandt. Great to see everyone tonight. Got a bunch of things I want to address here. Al, I'm going to start with you. I'll give you multiple choice. Do you want to talk about the sheriff's retirement, the personal injury attorneys who've taken over this murder case, potential death penalty case, or do you want to talk about the hearing and the motive that may come out in court tomorrow? Your choice. Go ahead.
What about the Mets in the playoffs? Will you go with that?
We already know that. We know what happened there. That's all good news.
Let's go with the retirement. Let's go with the retirement. Okay. He had to retire because if he didn't, I mean, he's looking at charges that could be official misconduct with regards to his actions involved in this situation. Whether or not he's convicted of the crime, he still could be facing official misconduct, which is a civil charge with regards also criminal, but also would be against him and would cause him to lose his pension. So by retiring and putting it down that way, he has not been adjudicated in any way. Any IA investigation would stop at this point because he's no longer in law enforcement. And so he may be able to skirt through and get his least pension. So the move was,
Oh, hell.
The right move under the circumstances. And, his attorney, whether it's personal injury or not, definitely told him to go in the right direction, which was with regards to this. Although I will say that I took a look at that law firm that's representing him, and that Kerry Bartley does have a criminal background. She was in the public advocate's office, and so she does have some knowledge on it and did handle murder cases.
Oh, well, there you go. That's
I
good.
don't know if with regards to this level and whether or not she's actually appeared as defense on them, but the public advocate obviously has some quasi criminal aspect to it. So
Absolutely.
it's not all public. It's not all personal injury. Although the head guy deals with truck cases.
Well, the one thing about personal injury attorney, and you answered two things, Al. So now I got to go to Darnell. Darnell is not leaving you anything. He's not leaving you anything. No, but Darnell, the truth is, though, Darnell, personal injury attorneys, some incredible litigators inside a courtroom, in front of a jury, they know how to reach people. And if she has any sort of background in this, it could be a very powerful, formidable team here.
Well, yeah. I mean, one thing is for sure. We spend long hours in court, and it's good to look at pleasant, attractive people. And so I chose her over Al any day. And that's for starters.
What? Oh, Lord. What did he just say?
In terms of Al's question, I just want to get back to with the retirement. I think what we missed in that answer is that this guy shot a judge. And so they made it almost like a sweetheart deal. Like, we're going to let you retire? I'm sure, like Al said, it's misconduct, it's criminal, it's everything. And even though there are allegations, he shot a judge and killed him. So they could have easily took his pension away. He got a sweetheart deal, and I don't understand this town because they seem to be mourning the death of the other person, but they show a lot of deference for the shooter.
Well, there's something else happening. You look online in the court of public
Hello,
opinion.
thank you.
Everyone,
Howdy.
Besides the rumors, people are tending to think there had to be a reason. There had to be a reason. And Jennifer Brandt, do you expect tomorrow during this preliminary probable cause type hearing to hear that, to hear the why of it tomorrow?
I hope so, because we all have those questions. And I think everybody, the townspeople, the public in general, we all want to know, why would this happen? Especially because these two gentlemen were friends. They had gone out to lunch together that very day. It seemed like they got along.
They had lunch together that same day?
The sheriff was there to protect the judge. Small town, everybody
Fox, good to see you, man.
knows everybody. There didn't seem to be really any animosity between these two. And then all of a sudden, they come back from lunch. He picks up his cell phone in the judge's chambers and then shoots him. So we all want to know what was on that cell phone. What did he read or talk about while they were in the chambers together before the shooting occurred? And, why would that drive somebody to pick up a gun and shoot someone who was a friend or at least a colleague, somebody he worked with? So it just seems bizarre. And I think there must be a reason. I don't know if it's a justifiable reason, but I think we're all waiting to hear what it is.
Yeah, and basically, Al, the only justifiable reason would be self.
Yep. Critter Vamp, welcome back. Thank you for subscribing. Y'all, let's get it. Come on, subscribe.
Defense, and I didn't hear anything about another weapon. I didn't hear about an attack or anything like that. We'll find out tomorrow. But the key is whatever's on that phone. The sheriff reportedly looked at the phone of the judge in chambers, put down the judge's phone, and then allegedly shot him.
Yeah. And that's going to be fascinating, but I don't think we're going to get much information tomorrow. They don't really need to give too much information tomorrow.
Well, don't you think on cross-examination they might be asked about that? What was on the phone?
See, the thing, what for tomorrow's purposes?
Yeah,
I don't think there's going to be too much going on with that. And his attorney's going to be keeping a very, very tight leash.
Really?
Everything. It makes sense. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
But I want to just go on. I want to just say something with regards to Darnell. Mentioned about the pension. He's applied for retirement. It does not mean he automatically gets it. There will be a pension hearing with regards to same. And they have the opportunity to take a look, and you can be, they can reduce your pension, they can take away your pension for what's called bad acts. So there is a possibility that his pension could be severely reduced, or it could be terminated completely. Now, just so you understand, his pension, if it's gone, all the money he put into the pension would be refunded to him. So they can't take that away, but they can take away his pension thing. And with regards to a civil attorney handling a murder case, let's remember that Melvin Belli represented Jack Ruby.
That's right.
Trial of Jack Ruby.
That's right.
And he had never handled a criminal trial before, and they got engaged to the biggest one.
Oh, the band is playing, Al. You know what that means.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Hey, that was the end of it? Oh, hell, y'all. I'm trying to find it says the video surveillance footage of a man identified as a sheriff right before it happened. They're trying to take my wife and kid, he said. What? Was it the wife and the kid? Oh, dang. That's the picture from the video right there. Holy hell. Oh, that is crazy. They played the video in court. Oh my God. Yeah, I see that one freeze frame. A freeze frame right there. Damn. Oh, there is a romantic scandal is what it says. Authorities did not elaborate on the in question. However, the sheriff has been deposed in the lawsuit filed by 2 women. Wait, what? Oh, yeah. Stampers confirmed that police found the sheriff's daughter's phone number saved in the judge's phone. Oh, hell. Oh, Lord have mercy. This is crazy as hell. Unbelievable. Well, y'all, I'm out of here. I got to get some sleep. I love you guys. YouTube, hit the thumbs up button. We still didn't get 100 likes, YouTube. What? Oh, man. We used to go 300, 400, 500 likes. We can't even get 100 anymore, huh? Sad news, y'all. Hit the thumbs up button on the way out. See y'all tomorrow.